of a king, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice.
Decision making are the choices we make that determine our success or failure in life. See, your life today is a reflection of the choices you made yesterday, and your life tomorrow will reflect the choices you are making today. To make effective choices or effective decisions in life, you need wisdom. I invite you to join me on my new series, the Wisdom Series. In the Wisdom Series, I will share the 7 types of wisdom necessary for success and greatness in life. Thank you, and God bless you.
Pure praise. Pure worship. Pure praise. Pure ministration. And pure word.
I have been looking at the Wisdom series, and part 1 of the Wisdom series, we have been looking at the 14 practical definitions of wisdom. 14 practical definitions of wisdom. And so far, I have dealt with 9 of the 14 practical definitions of wisdom, and this morning I will look at the last 5 of the 14 practical definitions of wisdom, and then next week we will look at the 7 wisdom types necessary for greatness and success in life. Good. So we're going to look at the last 5 of the 14 practical definitions of wisdom. If you allow me, I will run through the first 9 of the 14 practical definitions of wisdom. Number 1, I said life is like a timetable. Wisdom is the ability to do the right thing at the right time. Number 2, I said life is like a snake. Wisdom is the ability to charm it before it bites you. Number 3, I said life is like a library. Wisdom is the ability to know the right books to read for your assignments. Number 4, I said life is like a seed. Wisdom is the ability to plant the seed in the right soil, water it, prune it, and wait for it to grow. Number 5, I said life is like a bank. Wisdom is the ability to save today and withdraw tomorrow. Number 6, I said life is like a journey on a dangerous road. Wisdom is the ability to observe the road signs. Number 7, I said life is like a walk on a minefield. Wisdom is the ability to give thought to your steps. Number 8, I said life is a chance. Wisdom is the ability to take it. And then number 9, last week we ended on number 9, and I said life is like a relay. Wisdom is the ability to put the next runner in a pole position. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at number 10 to number 14. Are you ready? 10 to 14. 10 to 14. The 10th practical definition of wisdom. Life is like music. Life is like music. Wisdom is the ability to find harmony. Life is like music. Wisdom is the ability to find harmony. The choir sang so wonderfully and so nice. You enjoyed it, didn't you? But you see, it was nice, it was good. You enjoyed it because they found harmony. There are people in the choir who sing treble, others sing alto, some people sing tenor, and then some people sing bass, because they have different pitches for their voice. They have different sound that comes out of their voices. Like as I stand here, there is no way I can sing treble. Maybe the best sound I can make with my voice might be bass, isn't it? Or tenor. I might try to make that sound with my voice. So all these people came here. They have different volumes of sounds that their voices could make. Yet, they were able to blend together with a keyboard, with a bass guitar, with a lead guitar, with congas, with drums, to give us a beautiful music. Despite the fact that they have different sound levels to their voices, yet they gave us very beautiful music. You know why? Because they found harmony. Life is like music. You know, the word harmony means agreement. To find agreement. They were able to sing because there was agreement. It didn't matter how big your voice was or how small your voice was. You sang nicely because we were in agreement. We were in agreement. We were in agreement. We were in agreement. You know, life is so beautiful if you find harmony with people and find harmony with things around you. Are you understanding what I'm talking about? Life, your life is so good for people to listen to if you are able to find harmony with others. Live in agreement with others. You can't enjoy life and people will not enjoy you if you don't live with harmony with people. If your entire life is based on having disagreements with people and fighting people, and all the time you have disagreements with people, with your colleagues in the office, you have disagreements. With your siblings at home, you have disagreements. With your husband and wife, you have disagreements. With your in-laws, you have disagreements. With people in your church, you have disagreements. You have disagreement with people in your department. You even have disagreements with your pastors. Your whole life is based on arguments and fighting and quarreling. You don't have harmony in life. And so your life is not pleasant. Your life story is not pleasant to people. Look at how the music was pleasant to your ears because they found harmony. Assuming when the keyboard gave them the key D, and then the alto singer said, we are alto singers, we are going to sing in key E. And then the treble singer said, we will sing key A. And then someone said, we will sing key F. And then all of them decided to sing different keys. Despite the fact that they are all good singers, because they will not find harmony, the sound coming out of them will not be pleasant to the ears. When your life story is not pleasant to the ears, it is because you are not finding harmony with other people in life. And that will not help you. If your husband wants to talk about you to other people, will it be a pleasant story? If your wife wants to talk about you to other people, will it be a pleasant story? If your pastor wants to discuss you with other people, will it be a pleasant story? If your colleagues in the office, the people you worship with in this church, they want to discuss you and talk about you to other people, will it be a pleasant story? Are you walking through life fighting everybody, quarreling with everybody, having cases against people? Your heart is full of bitterness and grudges against other people. Then you are not finding harmony in life, and your life story, the sound of your story, is not pleasant to people's ears. Romans 12 and the verse 16. I'm reading from the NIV. Live in harmony with one another. Live in harmony with one another, which means be in agreement with one another. Live in agreement with one another. Hear this. Hear this. Do not be proud. Why? Why? Because pride is the major reason for disagreements. Live in harmony with one another. Then he goes on to say, do not be proud. Do not be proud. And you know that the causes of bitterness is as a result of pride. If you are arrogant, if you are proud, you cannot live in harmony with other people. You know, the funny thing about many Africans is when we marry into a family, we have this thing like we are better than the members of the family we are being married into. And we look down on them. Pride will not allow you to live in harmony with other people. Number 11, life is like a track running. You can only run in one direction. Wisdom is the ability to find focus. How many of you did athletics in school? That you have to run. And you know when you are doing, okay, Charles's hand is up, but Willie's hand was up. Okay. But it's those who did hit 100-meter race or 400 meters. How many of you did 400 meters? You know, 200 meters. Okay, so you are giving tracks. Track 1, I think up to about 8. So track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, track 5, track 6, track 7, and track 8. Then it's a 100-meter race. You get set, ready, then you are running. And as you begin to run, you stay focused. You just look at the finishing line, because that is where you want to get to. That is where you want to reach. When somebody is screaming at your back, you don't look at the person, because you are running towards a destination and you want to reach there on time and win. I haven't seen anybody run a track race winning looking back. You win looking forward. You win staying focused. Life is like a track race. You can't win it looking back. You only win looking forward and staying focused. You see, let me tell you something. I know you have a past, but you also have a future. Your past is already spent. The mistakes committed in the past is already committed. The only way to deal with the mistakes of the past is not to look at the mistakes, but to face the future, correct things in the future, do the right things in the future. And as you do the right things in the future, you deal with your past. If a prostitute gets born again, and that prostitute is able to deal with the past, go back to school and become a great woman, she can say, I used to be a prostitute, because the future she has created has erased her past. So I am not saying that you don't have a past. You have a past. You have done some bad things. You have done some weird things. You have done some ugly things. But yet, I want you to forgive yourself, forgive people in your past, and say that I have more opportunities ahead of me. The past is gone. There is nothing I can do about it. It will never come back to me again. But the only thing I have now is the future. And I must do something about the future. Number 12. Life is an expectation. Life is an expectation. Wisdom is the ability to manage it well. Right from the day you were born, people had expectations of you. You know, you go to the hospital, the maternity home, and your wife has a new baby. When you go there, you say, this boy will be a prophet. This boy will be a pastor. This girl will be president. You know, immediately you have expectation. This child will be a lawyer. So from the day you were born, people had expectations of you. And life is always expectations. As I stand here, I have expectations of all of you. You say you are a Christian, the way you should behave, the way you should relate with people, and the way you should deal with people. You as a congregation, you have expectations of me. I am a pastor. You expect me to behave in a particular way and talk in a particular way. So you see, people have so much expectations of you. Some are realistic, some are very unrealistic. But you need to manage these expectations very well. Manage it very well. You are a CEO, expectations. You are aged, expectations. You are young, expectations. You are a woman, expectations. You are a man, expectations. But you see, you have to learn how to manage expectations in life. If you don't know how to manage expectations well in life, you either become a pretender or you lose your identity. The first key in managing expectations is to listen to your conscience. If your conscience is alive and you have a very good conscience, you always, when you listen to your conscience, you are able to meet people's expectations. Rightly, not wrongly. As a pastor, all of you have expectations of me. I cannot meet everybody's expectation. But I must make sure that whatever I am doing, my conscience is clear. That I am obeying God's voice. Are you understanding what I'm talking about? So first, listen to your conscience. Number 2, listen to people. When people have expectations of you, because people that criticize you and demand certain responsibility from you must serve as your quality assurance managers. Now listen. Apart from the fact that I fear God and I want to walk in holiness and in purity, there are some of you here that your expectations of me have helped me to even lead a more purer life before the Lord. I cannot imagine how some of you will feel if you hear a bad news about me, a very bad one that is true. Some of you might not even be able to go to any church again and believe any pastor again. And because you have those expectations of me, whether realistic or unrealistic, I use it as a quality assurance measurement for my life. If you live a life and you say, I don't care about what people say, I don't care about what people think, I don't care about what they are saying, once I know I'm doing the right thing, I don't care. God looks at the heart, I agree, but man looks at the outward appearance. And what man says about you matter. It matters very, very well. Life is an expectation. 13. Life is an example, Life is an example. Wisdom is the ability to set them for posterity. Life is an example. Wisdom is the ability to set them for posterity. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21 from the NIV. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21 from the NIV. To this you were called, because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his steps. You know why the apostles were killed, crucified, and they were still ready to be crucified? You know why? Because Christ left an example for them. Life is an example. I don't know the examples you are living for people that look up to you. I don't know the examples you are living for your younger siblings. I know the examples you are living for your children. I know the examples you are living for people in this church. Can your children grow up and say, I do what I do because my father left me a good example? There are most of you here. You dress the way you dress. You pray the way you pray. You are marrying your wife the way you are marrying them because I have left examples for you. I'm teaching you by example. I'm doing everything by example. Life is an example. Wisdom is the ability to set them for posterity to follow. Finally, life has an end. Life has an end. One day life will end. Life has an end. Wisdom is the ability to determine how well you end it. Life has an end. One day life will end. Hebrews chapter 9 and the verse 27. As it is appointed unto men once to die. Once to die. But after this, the judgment. Life is not two. Life is one. The opportunity to live today is only one. You don't have life two. It's only one. It's only one. One day this life will end. When it will end, nobody knows. Your life will end. When it will end, nobody knows. Going home from here today, you can end your life. God can decide that some car should knock you and come home. Your headache, that migraine can kill you tomorrow. A lot of you would think that Christ is not coming now. Christ comes every day. For those who died yesterday, Christ has already come in their life. And those who die today is when Christ has come in their life. I'm not waiting for the trumpet to sound before I prepare for death. I am every day preparing myself for death. And preparing for death is not writing my will or buying a coffin. Preparing for death every day is that, am I ready to stand before the judgment seat of God? If you die today, if you are a good believer, you are walking in purity, Jesus is in your heart. If you die today, your soul will go and wait in paradise. If you are a pretender, a mixed multitude, you come to church like this, but you are a sinner. You are sinning. You are sinning. You are walking in sin. And you know. Sexual sins, gossip sins, gossip about people, and run people down. Everybody's story. You know. And you are saying it. All those who are not born again, and those who are born again, but they are pretenders. They come to church and yet they leave church and go and sin. In this church right now, somebody you are not married to, you are sleeping with, is sitting here with you. We didn't see it, but it's recorded. It's recorded. When you die, you'll be dumped in hell. And then on the final day, the judgment day, hell, the Bible says hell will be cast into the lake of fire. Have you seen a lake before? Most lake you see is water body. This one, the lake is fire. And you'll be carried and be thrown into that lake for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. If right now this roof falls and kills you, is your name written in the book of life? Is your name written in the book of life? When you are addicted to pornography and you are sinning, committing fornication, and adultery, and you are seated here, you think that dancing in church will make you go to heaven? You think your tithe will give you a place in heaven? Is that what you are thinking? You think giving to me will give you a place in heaven? It will not. You cannot buy a ticket to heaven. You cannot. You cannot buy a ticket to heaven. You cannot buy your way to heaven. One day, we will all stand before the judgment seat of God. It's appointed unto man once to die. After that, judgment.
Thank you for joining me on this program. I will come your way again next week, same time. But you know, I cannot leave without asking you to give your life to Jesus. Please pray this prayer with me. Close your eyes and say, Dear Lord Jesus, I believe that you died for my sins, and on the third day you resurrected for my salvation. Dear Lord Jesus, I ask you to forgive me my sins. I open my heart to you. Come into my heart. Be my Lord and my Savior. So if you prayed this prayer, you just got born again. I invite you to worship with us at the Sheepfold Chapel of the Spinters Road. And you know what? I want to also hear from you. So please go to my Facebook wall, write my name, Gideon Titi-Ofei, and send me a message, your comment on this program, any questions you have. Please go there and then let's have a chat. God bless you.
Pure prayer. Pure worship. Pure praise. Pure ministration. And pure word. Join us at the Sheepfold Chapel this and every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. prompt for our life empowerment service. Sheepfold Chapel is located off the Spinters Road. Sheepfold Chapel, a 21st century church with a first century church charisma.